to JN Graphic Tutorial. On this session we are going to learn how to design a music concert flyer. But before that, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I want you to subscribe to the channel. Okay, let's begin with our tutorial. So first of all, I will move on to my Photoshop. Then I go to new file. Then I will make sure that the width of the flyer is 1700 and the height of the flyer is 2000. Then it is on pixels. Then the resolution of the flyer will be 300. Then I'll make sure that the color mode is RGB color. So let's go on and create our document. So now this is the document that we are going to work on with our design for this session. So first of all, I will go to my view and go to guides, then go to guide layout, new guide layout. So this is what I'm going to get. This will help me to do everything in alignment. So first of all, let's go on and create a solid background. So I'll go to this panel and move on to solid color. Then I'll make sure that the code for the solid color is 05136B. So this is what we are going to use for the solid background. Then I will create another gradient. So let me choose a gradient of a code F5E802. So this is the gradient that we are going to use. So I will just hit on the OK. Then I will create my gradient. So I'll go to this panel, move to gradient, and I'll make sure that the yellow is at the top of the flyer. Then I'll make sure that I push the white so that I will get something like this. So this is what actually I want to create. Then I'll make sure that the yellow is well placed at the top of the flyer. So now this is what I am having. So first of all, I will go on and import my resources. So I'll go to File, Place Link. Then I go to where my resources are. So the first resource I'm going to use is this image. I make sure that I extend this image so widely, something like this. I will make sure that I extend the image so widely. So I want something like this, but I will select the image and go to filter, then go to blur, Gaussian blur. I'll make sure that the image is blurred, something like this. I think something like this is very cool. And if I want to blur it more and more, I'll still go to the Gaussian blur and make sure that it is blurred like this. So I think let us use something like this. Something like this is very cool. So I will still select the image and go to my eraser, and I will make sure that the hardness of the eraser is 0%. Then the brush is about something like this. So let's go on and rasterize it and clean the sharp part of the image, something like this. I think something like this is very cool and nice. So now we are actually done with this session. So let's go on and import another resource. So I'll go to Place Link and import this one. I'll make sure that this extends on the entire of the flyer, something like this. I'll make sure that it is widely extended. It is widely extended. So I will get something like this. I'll still extend it so that I'll get something like this. I think something like this is cool. Then I'll make sure that this image is changed to something like overlay. Yes, so this is what actually I wanted to create. So now let's place our next link. So I will go to my file and go to my place link. Then I will bring something like this. Then I'll make sure that it spreads on the entire background, so it will be looking like something like this. Then I'll make sure that I change the blending option to something like I make sure that the blending option is, let me choose something like color dodge. So I think this is very nice and very cool. Then I will reduce the opacity to about 34, or I will reduce the opacity to about 34 or something like that. I think this is very cool and nice. So after I'm done with this, I'm going to import the ministers. So I'll go to my file, place link. Then I will bring this image first. I'll make sure that I will resize it a little bit, something like this. Then I'll go forward and import or place another link. I'll bring this image to, and I'll make sure that I will resize it to how I want it to be. I think this is very cool. But on this image, I will still select it, go to edit and go to transform. I'll make sure that I'll rotate it horizontally. So I'll flip it horizontally so that it will face the other way, something like this. Then I will still go and import another resource, which will be this image, something like this. So I'll make sure that I will arrange it so that everything will be so nice and attractive on the flyer. So I will make sure that everything is nice and beautiful. So first of all, I will select the image I brought it in first, and select my eraser. Then I'll make sure that I reduce the size of the brush. Then I clean the down part of the image so that it will blend with the background, something like this. Then I will select my second image, then rasterize it. Then I will clean it in the same manner, something like this, so that it will also blend with the background. Then I'll select my last image, which is the minister. Then I'll make sure that it is also blend with the background, something like this. Now we can see that the image has started looking attractive. So this is what I am going to get, something like this, very powerful and very nice. So now after I'm done importing with everything, I will start typing. So I'll first of all take my text tool and type something like festival in capital letter. Then I will select it, go to my text panel. I'll make sure that the size of the festival is about 57. Then the spaces is 5. Then I think everything is fine, something like this. Then I'll make sure that the color is something like more ash, or something looking more ash, something like this. Not all that white and not all that white, something like this. So it will be like an ash color, something like this. So this is what we are going to actually use for the flyer. And I'll make sure that the font style is Tahoma, something like this, very nice and beautiful. So I'll import another file again, but this time I will import this thing called Praise. I'll make sure that I will resize it a little bit, something like this. So we will be getting something like this. I can still go on and resize the festival so that the praise will get enough space at the down of the flyer. So we will be getting something like this. I think this is quite beautiful and very nice. So I will show you how I did my praise. The praise is looking so very awesome. So I will show you how I did it in another video. So now let's continue with this flyer. So I will make sure that the praise is just under the festival. Then I'll pick my text tool again. Then I will type in small letters off. Then I'll select it. I'll make sure that the style is something like a thank you flyer, a thank you font. So beautiful. Then I will place it just here. So now we can see how the flyer is looking now. Very attractive and very beautiful. So after I'm done with this, I can still type again. Now I want to type, let me change the font style to something like let me change it to something like aileron. Then I will type something like music in capital, music concepts. Then I will select it and make sure that the size is very small. So I will choose a size of about 14 and make sure that it is a semi-bold, something like this. But still, I can still resize it, so I can still expand it, something like this. And I make sure that it is just under the praise, something like this. I think something like this is very cool and very beautiful. So after I'm done with this, I am going to create a rectangle. So I will go forward and go to my shape box, pick a rectangle and draw a rectangle just under the concept, something like this. Then I will select the rectangle and change the color to something like ash, something like ash. I think this is very beautiful and very nice. Then I will start typing again. Now I will type the date of the program, so I can type something like 18th April 2023. Then I'll select it. I'll make sure that the size is wide, so let me choose something like 24. I think 24 is good, but 24 is good. Then I'll make sure that the color of the font is black. Then I just pull it under the white background, something like this. I think something like this is looking very beautiful and nice. But I can go on and select the 18th April and change the font to a heavy font, so that it will look quite amazing and beautiful. It will look quite amazing and beautiful. So now I will type the venue of the program. So I can type something like Accra International Conference Center, something like this. Then I'll select it. I'll make sure that the font is somehow semi-bold. Then I will extend it. I will still resize it to a size like this. Then just place it just under the dates, something like this. Very cool and very beautiful. So now after I'm done with this, it has left for me to type the date of the program. So I can still go to my shape box, or I can pick my text tool and type something like 8 p.m. in capital, 8 p.m. and select it, and I'll give it a very heavy font, something like this. It's very beautiful. Then I'll place it at the corner, or the corner of the flyer, the top corner of the flyer. Then I will still type another thing like sharp, 8 p.m. sharp, but I will reduce this one to a very tiny font, something like this. Resize it so that it will just get under the 8 p.m. Then after I'm done with this, I'll create a circle, a shaped circle just around the 8 p.m. and I'll make sure that it is an ash color, something like an ash color. So this is how I wanted it to look like. Very nice and very beautiful. So now after I'm done with this, I can still go on and import another resources. So let's go and import our resources. So now I want to bring the media partners, so I can bring this link first, Adobe TV. Then I'll place it just under the Accra International Conference Center, something like this. Then I will still go on and place another link, Joy TV. Then let me place another link, which will be TV3. Then let me go again and place, I think this will be my last one, Peace FM. So these are my media partners. Something like this is very beautiful. So I can still hold on Shift, then select all this and drag them to the center of the flyer, something like this. And I can also make sure that the rectangle matches with the media partners that I have taken or I have placed. So I can still select the rectangle, go to the color, then I will pick a color just exactly like the media partner, so that everything will blend to the background. Something like this is very awesome and very beautiful. So now after I'm done with all these things, it has left for me to add some effects to the ministers that I have brought in. So first of all, I will select this minister and go to my brush and go to my color replacement brush, something like this. Then I'll make sure that I choose a color which is closer to his head, something like this, and hit on OK. Then I'll create this effect on the minister. Then the same thing, I will select the image of this minister, then I will create another similar thing, another similar effect on the minister, something like this, and the same here. So I can choose any color I want and create the effect. If the color you chose is not cool for you, you can still choose another color, something like this. You can choose another color, something like this, so that it will be more visible for you, something like this. I think something like this is very cool. Then I'll choose the last minister and do the same thing to the last minister and do the same thing to him. Do the same thing. Very nice and very beautiful. So this is what actually we are going to get. This is what we are going to get. So now I've created the effects on the ministers. Now it has left for us to add some flair to the background so that it will look so awesome. So I will go to place link and bring this flair, and I'll make sure that the color or the blending option of the flair, is changed to something like linear dodge, something like this. It's very great, and I'll make sure that it is just placed under the ministers. So these are the ministers, and I'll place the fledges behind them. I will duplicate it and send the duplicate one to the other side of the minister. So I'll create something like this. So I'll select the flare and take my eraser. Then I will clean the sharp parts of the flare. I'll select the other one, rasterize it, clean the sharp part of the flare. So I'll create something like this. Very awesome, very cool. Clear the sharp parts so that it will just blend with the background. So this is actually what I am going to get. Very beautiful, very awesome. So now we are almost done with the flyer, but I want to add the names of the ministers to the flyer so that it will look more awesome. So first of all, let me type Joyce. Blessing. Very cool and beautiful. So I can resize it to however I want it to be. Something like this is very quite awesome and very beautiful. The space between it. Let me adjust it. I think something like this is very cool and beautiful. So Joyce Blessing, I'll make sure that the color is something like white so that it will be more visible. Then I can still duplicate the text. Send the other one here, something like this. Then I'll select this one, then type G-links, and still duplicate the G-links, Ctrl+G, and send the duplicate here. And I'll type another thing again. So I'll type minister brands for something like this. Very awesome and beautiful. So we are almost done with the flyer, but I would like to add some brushes to the flyer so that it will look more amazing and very awesome. So first of all, I will go to a new layer. Then I will go to my brushes. I'll select these brushes. So these are my brush panel. I have placed a link which contains the brushes. So you can go forward and use the brushes from the link that. So these are the brushes, and the brush I want to use is this brush. So I will select it. Something like this. I'll make sure that the color is quite yellow. No, that all pure yellow, something like this. Then I will create this effect here. Then I will create another effect here. So this is what I wanted to create. So now this is the end of the flyer. You can go on and use the resources to create something similar like this, or you can do a lot of things out of what I have created. So this is what we have gotten for today, and if you haven't subscribed, I would like you to subscribe for more amazing things coming. So thank you and God bless you. See you at another time. Goodbye.